We are live at world famous Hot Rod Hobbies for the 2018 SoCal Monster Truck Racing Series Winter Finals. I'm your host, Chalee Siengthai. I'm joined by Low Budget TV's Tommy Mason. Tommy, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here at Hot Rod Hobbies, one of my places that I used to hang out weekly. And we're here for monster trucks.
That's right. We got a great quality field of some of the best West Coast RC monster truck racers, and they're here to do battle on this tricky Figure 8 course. It's a throwback course to the old Louisville Motor Speedway.
Awesome. And you know what? I remember watching Louisville on ESPN, and looks like a run from earlier today, and I'm excited. I mean, we've got some crossover action, big jumps into the infield.
And not only are they doing battle for awards, but they're also trying to get some cool Pro Line and J Concept swag. As we take a look at some qualifying highlights, here we have Trevor Adamo in the launch control, about to set a hot lap. He ended up clocking in the fastest time, getting #1 qualifier at 11.20 seconds, Tommy.
You know, I'm already seeing how this is going to be a tricky race. You got to stay without hitting the markers, or else it'll upset the truck, but off the track, it's banked and it looks kind of slippery.
That's right. It's a very treacherous track. As we look at our qualifying results, top 10 is very important because they get bye runs in the first round. So these guys get to relax while the rest of the field have to do battle in the first round. As I said, Adamo would claim pole position with launch control, but he'd also claim the second position with his second truck as well, as we look at 11th through 22nd.
So I think Adamo, from what you're saying, is going to be the driver to look out for in this Figure 8 race.
He has been, as we look at the round 1 matchups. We're going to kick things off with Bigfoot 20 driven by Jeremy Bunting and an Escalade driven by Jonathan Lopez.
I'm ready. Ready? Ooh, wheelie at the start from an Escalade.
Spectacular wheelie, but it's going to cost him a lot of time as Bigfoot 20 pulls a big lead and looks like he's going to take this round 1 victory, Tommy.
Right across the line, he flies it, but yeah, an Escalade, trouble at the start, really upset his entire run from there.
Nice recovery, but his first race will be done for the day, and he'll have to wait for race 2 coming up later on in the day. As we move to our second matchup, it's the War Wizard versus Air Force Afterburner.
Cool throwback truck there, Air Force Afterburner, a mid-2000s truck that I remember watching on TV, and here he is up against War Wizard, that Pro Mod style body, and a bit squirrely across the crossover there for War Wizard. He's almost going to throw it away, is he? Oh, hanging it out right at the end, upside down. Hopefully that truck isn't too badly damaged.
Upside down, but he gets the win, so that's all that really matters as he gets flipped over by the turn marshal. So nice run by Travis Letcher in the War Wizard. And our next matchup will be the Rusty Titan, driven by James Zimmerman, and Obsessed, driven by Levi Scones.
Oh man, we got some rivalry at the start.
We haven't even started yet. We already got a truck flipped over. Levi Scones flipped over at the start. So is that some intimidation tactics, Tommy?
Absolutely. Tipping your opponent over, and then you saw the payback there, but Rusty Titan and Obsessed, 2 local California drivers, replica trucks, I should say.
Pole shot by Scones, but loses traction right away. Does that show how slippery this track is, Tommy?
You know, I've been noticing that from the qualifying highlights. This track seems to be drying out, and that bank, you can see it throwing the drivers for a curve.
So Rusty Titan claims the win, but it wasn't a pretty run. He's got to clean it up if he wants to advance in the second round as Levi gets the freestyle started early on.
Yeah.
His day will be done with Obsessed, but he'll be back later in race 2 as we move on to our next matchup between FS1 and Cody Saucier Motorsports.
Very cool there. You see them doing some gardening. That's a term that I use when they get ready to launch in this track.
So Travis Letcher again in FS1 and Alan Manriquez in the Cody Saucier Motorsports truck. Pretty even off the line as they get to the crossover. FS1 holds the lead, but Cody Saucier Motorsports will have the inside lane come this last turn.
Oh, and a big crash at the end. but hanging it out, Cody Saucier.
And it
With
kind
the
of,
win.
as we look at the replay, it looks like FS1 could have won the race, but it looks like he slows down when he gets to the finish line, Tommy.
Got all squirrely there at the end, and yeah, tried to miss the markers, and that cost him.
As we move on to our next first round matchup, it's the Black Stallion of Jessica Dahl and the Hooligan truck.
Driving over the markers, you got to be careful. You can see
Jessica
how much it
gets
upsets the
swirly.
truck.
Oh, and takes out Hooligan and hits him for good measure. So our race director, as we take a replay, this will be a rerun as we look at the replay.
Oh!
Perfect timing, actually, for a takeout, Tom.
I guess. Are we going to redo the round? It looks
Yeah,
like?
it looks like we are going to redo. So second chance for both drivers. Jeremy Bunting in the Hooligan hopes that he will not be upside down in this run, as Jessica gets the early lead.
Learning from her mistake, she's in the lead.
Oh, but she takes the in. She was supposed to go outside, Tommy.
Oh, and I think she just realized it and gives the win away.
So Hooligan redeems himself after getting flipped over, takes the round win, and Jessica, not to be outdone, wants to get freestyle started early as well.
Look out pit area.
So our final matchup of the first round will be Levi Scones in the King Crunch, the awesome retro-inspired King Crunch, and the Power Forward machine. Michael Letcher with the Power Forward, that awesome-looking replica as well. So two nice replicas here, Tommy.
Power Forward, a short-lived Monster Jam truck in real life, but you see them side by side.
Levi, a little bit of trouble staying inside, and Power Forward's going to the advantage if they go to the crossover, and I think it's going to be a big advantage now that it's the inside lane, Tommy.
Power Forward powering to the finish.
Oh, and on his lid, just like the real King Crunch, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Scott Stevens will be proud.
Carl Malone would be as well.
We will be back for round two of the winter finals. The SCMT winter finals is brought to you by Proline, racing to bring you the best. Fat Cat Customs, J Concepts, and TQ Media House. We are back at Hot Rod Hobbies for the SCMT Winter Finals, and it's now round two. As we take a look at the round two matchups, you will see the first 10 qualifiers that all had bye runs will now be making their racing debut for the day. Kicked off by Trevor Adamo in the launch control, and bad news travels fast from Chris Rabali. So Rabali qualified top 10, but he draws the #1 qualifier. Kind of a tough break for him, Tommy.
Wow, look at Trevor just going through this course, hanging it out, not hitting much, and not slowing down, and a huge air for the winner.
So Trevor shows exactly why he was the #1 qualifier as we move on to our second matchup in the second round. The Bigfoot 20 truck versus Stars and Scars.
Ready?
Yep. Good launch there for that right-hand lane, but we're going to see what happens when they go to the outside.
We'll see if Stars and Scars could make up the difference. Oh, and he missed the turning pole, Tommy. Jeremy Bunting had a chance to claim a second round win, but instead it will go to Michael Iacono in the Stars and Scars machine. As we move on to our next matchup, the War Wizard versus Power Wheels Bigfoot.
Who didn't have a Power Wheels Bigfoot when they were a kid? I didn't, so this is going to be my nostalgia coming back.
And, big mistake by War Wizard. Oh, but a mistake by Power Wheels Bigfoot. Who will recover first? Looks like Power Wheels Bigfoot will claim the win and move on to the quarterfinal round. So, good run for Power Wheels Bigfoot.
Good recovery from Power Wheels as well.
Yeah, did a little spin and win there. As we move on to our next matchup, it's the Rusty Titan versus Virginia Giant.
Spread out all across the country on this round. As you see, Rusty Titan with the advantage. Look out for that wall there.
Yeah, This is going to be a close race, Tommy. Neck and neck to the line.
Who won? I don't know.
Rusty Titan barely gets the round win. And then celebrates for good measure, too, as we will take a look at the replay to see how close this finish was.
On the gas coming out of the final corner. And, yeah, you could see it there in slow motion. You had to slow it down to figure out a winner there. Rusty Titan had his nose just a little bit ahead.
As we move on quickly to the Destroyer and Hang Time. Oh, flip for Destroyer. Oh, but Hang Time runs in too. Who's going to recover first?
They're neck and neck at the last corner.
But too much Hang Time. So Hang Time with the second round win. And both of Trevor Adamo's trucks will be going to the quarterfinal round. As we move on to our next matchup, it's Time Flies versus Cody Saucier Motorsports.
This is such a tricky track for these drivers. They gotta get acclimated, but the problem is the track keeps changing and drying out.
Oh, big mistake by Cody Saucier Motorsports. Oh, and Time Flies almost throws it away too. You are not safe on this track, Tommy. It could bite you at any moment.
And still coming across the line, Time Flies your winner with about a track distance lead. Almost threw it away on that last jump.
Yeah, I mean, seemingly he had it locked up when Cody Saucier got hung up on the K-rail, but he almost threw it away himself. So Time Flies will move on as we go to our next matchup, the Hooligan Truck versus Titan.
Oh,
little false start there, so we'll just back him up and try it one more time.
Now they have lights, so they gotta abide by those lights, those start lights. There we go. Hooligan off to a great start.
Oh, but he misses the ramp. That's going to be a penalty, Tommy.
And it looks like it might not matter.
Yeah, as Titan claims the win, and you know, Hooligan had a chance, but missed that ramp, and that was it. As we move on to our next matchup, it's the Power Forward Truck versus Roush Performance.
Ready?
Yep.
We'll see here.
Battle between the Michaels.
Oh, no!
Oh! And it shows, even those curbs, Tommy, you clip those curbs a little bit too much, and that could be the end of your race.
Well, there it is. You see Roush Performance at the end, just cruising over the lanes, over that ramp.
Yeah, that could have been a really good race, but we'll never know, as now we take a break. Up next is the quarterfinal rounds. We are back at Hot Rod Hobbies for the SCMT Winter Finals, and we are now in the quarterfinal rounds. Launch Control versus Stars and Scars, Power Wheels Bigfoot versus Rusty Titan, Hang Time versus Time Flies, and Roush Performance versus Titan.
You know what I'm seeing here, Charlie? I'm seeing that we can have some upsets in this quarterfinal round.
Well, up first is Trevor Adamo in the Launch Control versus Michael Iacono in the Stars and Scars machine.
Great start by both. Through the corners, nobody hitting the markers, nobody hitting anything.
But Trevor Adamo pours it on and continues his run through this field.
And a crash at the end.
Let's move on to our next pair. It's Time Flies versus Adamo's second truck, the Hang Time. So if Larry Turner wants to advance to the semifinal, he has his work cut out for him because Adamo already has one truck in the semis. He's going to try to get his second truck into the semis as well. What's it going to take, Tommy, for Turner to get this win?
I think it's going to have to be a solid, clean run. Both drivers throughout this event have had their share of problems getting through this track, and here we go.
Oh, and wide for Adamo. Oh, and he's hung up on the K-roll, the same exact thing that happened to Cody Saucier Motorsports. So your number 2 qualifier is looking like he will be out, and he will be as Time Flies gets the round win in a huge upset.
The two things that I just called in that one, clean run for sure, but rewind way back, I mentioned we could have some upsets.
Yeah, and we're going to take one more look at this run, and actually Adamo gets loose right at the start. He ends up in the inside lane on accident, and it just goes all wrong from there.
And you can tell when he had to correct there, it didn't matter. That truck was already completely 4 wheels slide into the pit area.
Excellent run by Turner, mistake-free, consistent, fast, and he's on to the semis. And the Roush Performance truck of Michael Iacono and Titan of Larry Turner as well have a huge opportunity with one of Trevor Adamo's trucks out of the race already.
Now, is there a rule on how many trucks you can bring?
I don't know if there's a rule, but most people have 2. Some have 1, but most have 2.
Double the track time as well as here we go. Great start by both. Pretty close through the first set of corners.
Little bit of bobble by Turner, and that's going to cost him because Iacono just pours it on at the end and claimed the win. So Turner will not get 2 trucks in the semis, but still a good job nonetheless. As we take a break, we will be back for our semifinal rounds. The SCMT Winter Finals is brought to you by Proline, racing to bring you the best. Fat Cat Customs, J Concepts, and TQ Media House. We are back at Hot Rod Hobbies for the SCMT Winter Finals, and we are now in our semifinal round. It will be Launch Control versus Rusty Titan, and Roush Performance versus Time Flies.
Get a good look at them coming through the chute.
So Rusty Titan, your number 11 qualifier, has battled his way through the field, but now draws the number 1 qualifier.
And you can see there, that track, there's not much moisture in it.
Oh, again!
A little bit of head game.
Yeah, as he did with Obsessed earlier. I don't think he's going to be able to flip over Launch Control the same way he did with Obsessed, but mind games nonetheless, Tommy.
Yep.
Shades of Fred Schaefer and Jack Williams Sr.
Great launch by both of them, but a little squirrely there into the first corner.
Rusty Titan with the advantage, but oh, and he overcorrects and spins it out, and that's all she wrote, folks. Launch Control with the win. Rusty Titan had a chance, Tommy, but he just overcorrected. Take a look at the replay.
And that's very easy to do. You can see as he got into a 4-tire slide, he gassed it up, and the truck hooked.
Now, who will face Adamo in the final? Will it be Michael Iacono in the Roush Performance or Larry Turner in Time Flies? Turner already beat Adamo once today. Will he be able to get to the final to get a shot at beating him again?
I think Time Flies is going to have to really cool it down a little bit there. He's getting really crazy on his last few runs. He's got to cool it down and try to get to the finish line.
Well, he gets a good start and will have the lead as we get to the crossover. Iacono is really going to have to make up some time here, but he rails that inside and he just took it from him, Tommy.
Wow.
Turner
just stole it.
Yeah, Turner didn't do anything wrong, but Iacono was just faster. As we take a look at the replay.
And maybe I gave him some bad advice there. I told him to cool it down. The last few runs, he's been sideways spinning out and everything crazy, but he had a picture-perfect run and still lost.
Yeah, so I mean, not much more than you could do there. As our final round matchup will be Launch Control, Trevor Adamo, and the Roush Performance Machine of Michael Iacono. So this is actually a rematch of the summertime nationals that we had in June between the two, and Adamo had the win in that round, so we'll see if Iacono can avenge that race or not. We'll see. It's our final round.
Yep.
And a great launch by both. Fast run.
Oh, he does a donut. Can he do the spin and win?
Oh, Sullivan.
Oh, I don't think so. Adamo, just too much launch control.
I thought that was going to be the Danny Sullivan, and he does the 360 for good measure there at the end.
It was a good effort by Iacono, but just too much launch control. Trevor Adamo, perfect day. Number 1 qualifier takes the win, and he is your winner in the SCMT Winter Nationals Figure 8 race. So you take a look at the replay, Tommy.
I mean, you can tell how fierce this final round was going to be. On the gas, 360, spins it out, but Trevor down low, and that left-hand lane there at the end.
I don't really think he lost that much time. He lost time, but I don't think that's what cost him the win. I think Trevor was better.
Yeah, got him there at the end.
Well, Tommy, it's been a great day of racing here at Hot Rod Hobbies in this retro Figure 8 course. What are your thoughts?
You know, I can't wait to see these drivers come back. Hopefully for Figure 8, the track is absolutely perfect for it.
Well, our next event will be coming up soon. It's actually another replica course, but this time it's the Back to School Bash course from Charlotte. So we're going to have some crossover action, lights are going to go down. It's going to be a grand old time, Tommy.
Can't wait. Looking forward to it here on Low Budget TV.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you next time.